Hi everybody, it's Casey Williams. People often come to me looking for a new car, and let me tell you what they want. They want something that'll haul the entire family, they want something that's all-road capable, they want something that gets great gas mileage, and they don't want it to cost anything. And basically what they're looking for is a stolen Swiss Army knife. And while I can't provide that, I can get close. The 2024 completely redesigned Subaru Crosstrek. Let's give a look at it. This is the third generation Crosstrek, and like I said, it's completely redesigned for 2024. But you'd be hard-pressed to really see a big difference between this one and the last generation. And that's fine. I think it's what Crosstrek and Subaru customers really want. And if you really look at it, what you're really looking at is kind of a downsized Outback. And again, I think that's also what Crosstrek owners want. But it is a little more expressive. There's a little more definition in the fenders. It just looks a little angrier. I like the grille. This is actually kind of the same grille texture as before. They just blew it up. I think it looks really cool here. It looks nice. Of course, all the black cladding is very Subaru, very Outback, very Crosstrek as well. LED headlamps, 17-inch alloy wheels. You'll see there's 8.6 inches of ground clearance. So if you need to get to that favorite fishing spot or to a remote cabin, you should be able to do that with this. This is not for rock crawling, but again, getting off-road just a little bit's all right. I like the roof rails. You can actually mount stuff to the roof rails. You get all your gear on there as well. But I just like, again, the style of it. Just seems a little bit wider, looks a little wider. Again, the fenders just a little deeper creases, a little bit sportier as well. Come around the back. I like the black, the lower diffuser down below, kind of that look as well. Coming inside, it's a manual hatch, but that's fine. This is the premium edition, so it's not the high end, it's not the low end, right in the middle. And I think it's really what most people will get. So again, you kind of go out some conveniences like power hatches, but I think that's fine, especially a car like this. Rubber floor mats. Yeah, when you're out camping, you're out hiking, you throw your dirty boots in here, your dirty clothes, your tents, all that stuff. You're not going to worry about getting the car dirty. And if you'll get a bicycle in, you could mount it to the roof. But you also have split fold roof seats that'll fold down, plenty of space for that too. Well, the biggest difference you're going to notice for the 24 edition of the Crosstrek is the interior. Before you had a really nice touchscreen, but they've gone to the full tablet-style touchscreen like is in the Outback and the WRX. It's a little slow to boot up, but once it boots up, it's really intuitive and very easy to use. I think it looks really nice too. The other thing I like that they've done, again, it's all touchscreen, swipe screen, get through the stations. You got wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. Easy to do that. You've got both versions of the USB ports down below and the auxiliary jack connection down here too. So again, very simple, easy to put things in. But what I also like is they've left some of the key functions as buttons and knobs. Climate control, it's got dual zone automatic climate control, but you can also adjust it here, hot, cold. You also have the defrosters here. So the things that you really need right now, you can easily get to them. You have to wait for all this to boot up. I also like that they leave a proper volume and tuning knob. I always say this in every car. Make the touchscreen where you want it to be, add the technology you want, but gosh darn it, just give me a volume and tuning knob so that's simple. Reach down, works great. They've done a nice job of that. Subaru always does. They add the technology, but they also keep it very simple. This is the premium edition of the Crosstrek, the trim package. So here's some of the things you'll see. You'll get cloth seats, but they're heated. You know, you get this nice thick steering wheel. You got all the buttons for the adaptive cruise control, volume, all that here, but it's rubber. You start looking through the cabin. You're not going to see the leather. You're not going to see the Harman Kardon audio system. You won't see a dual pane sunroof. You get a sunroof, but it's one pane. You get a nice stereo, and they could improve the stereo a little bit in this car, but it's all right. But you're not get the Harman Kardon system. So they've spent the money on the things that most of the customers are really going to care about, and have saved the money on the things they really won't. One of the things I suspect that most of their customers really are going to care about, and they've done a first-rate job with that. They've got their eyesight system, which is the camera system up here. So that's for the adaptive cruise control. It's for automatic emergency braking, helps the lane keep assist system. This also has emergency steering. So if it detects something in front of you, it will do evasive steering semi-automatically. I think that's really cool as well. Blind spot warning, rear cross path detection, pretty much the full suite of safety systems. So the upper trim models of the Crosstrek get a 2.5 liter four-cylinder engine, but this one has the base 2 liter four-cylinder engine. It's a horizontally posed engine, the boxer engine as they call it, which means the cylinders are like this instead of inline. But what that really does is it keeps weight down low in the chassis and really helps the handling of the vehicle. They've increased the body stiffness by 10%, so the vehicle feels stiffer, helps them better able to tune the suspension a little more precise, the steering's a little more precise, and it just has a better feeling car that just performs a little bit better. But that 2 liter four-cylinder engine delivers 152 horsepower, 145 pound-feet of torque, and you're looking at 27 miles per gallon in the city, 34 miles per gallon on the highway. So that's a pretty decent gas mileage, especially when you consider this thing comes standard with all-wheel drive. And not only just all-wheel drive, it's torque vector and all-wheel drive. So when you put it in a corner, it actually will over-rotate the back wheels a little bit. It just kind of sharpens that corner a little bit and just feels a little bit sportier. So the powertrain is really nicely done. Some other things that I like in the car, well, I'd say it's nicely done. You always feel like you need a little more power. This has a continuously variable transmission, which means it has no preset gears, although you can paddle shift it and it'll go through 8 gear ratios and pretend like they're real gears and acts like real gears. So that makes it a little bit more normal. But you know, the power, especially when it's not in sport mode, you really have to put a pretty firm foot down to get power out of it. But when you put it in sport mode, it does make the throttle a little more responsive, the transmission is a little more responsive, and changes attitude. So I've been driving it most of the time in sport mode, and it actually feels very nice that way. But also, being a Subaru, it actually has some pretty decent off-road capability. You can put it, this has the X mode, so it'll allow you, it has a hill start control, so you can plane on the hill and it'll let you get your foot off the brake onto the throttle without falling backwards. Also has hill descent control, so you can kind of tip it over a pretty steep curve. It will set, and then it'll just bring itself down the incline without you having to apply the brakes or the throttle. So again, you're not going to go crawl over rocks with this thing, but if you do some pretty serious off-roading to get to a fishing spot, get to a cabin, get to a kid's baseball game, I guess it's out in the middle of nowhere, this certainly has the capability of doing that. Beyond all that, though, the nice thing about it having the big tires and the off-road suspension, it does a pretty good job of absorbing city rough roads and potholes, and right now we're kind of driving through the neighborhood and it's kind of getting bounced a little bit, but it's really good at handling it. It just doesn't feel fragile like some of the cars in this class, or just a normal kind of compact sedan. You feel like you can kind of just toss it around and enjoy the drive. Well, I've spent a lot of miles driving Subarus over the years, and what always stands out to me is they feel very well built, they feel safe, and they do feel like they're going to last forever. In fact, Subaru claims that 97% of the Crosstreks built in the last 10 years are still on the road, and that's a pretty good record for somebody who wants to buy a car and drive it forever. But back to that getting it for nothing. Well, you're not going to get this one for nothing, but it is very affordable. Crosstrek starts just under $25,000. This one with everything on it, just a touch under $30,000. And I think for that, you get a lot of value. Well, next week we're on another fun ride. Until then, storm forward.